Hey everyone, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. You guys have been loving my instant pot rice recipes and they're always highly requested. So I decided to make instant pot Channa Pulao today. It's a really easy recipe. It's ready within 20 to 30 minutes tops, especially if you use all the hacks and store-bought things. So let's get started with the recipe. But before that, please do consider subscribing to my YouTube channel and following me on my Instagram page. So I'm starting with rice. I have 2 cups of basmati rice here, and I used a measuring cup. Make sure it's a measuring cup because then the ratios are not going to work properly, and you want to make sure that you wash your rice as nice as you can. And for that, all you have to do is keep rinsing them till the water is almost clear. It's never going to get 100% clear, so as clean as you get. And also make sure that you wash your rice with cold water. That is very important. Make sure it's cold and not hot nor warm, cold water. And now I'm gonna let my rice sit for about 30 to 40 minutes, or till they're almost doubled in size. As you can see here, the level has risen up quite a bit. And this is going to ensure that when you cook your rice, they're nice and fluffy and well cooked. So coming towards the rest of the ingredients, we have our 2 cups of rice. Obviously, what I like to do is stain them so that my rice can absorb more liquid from the stock we'll make. And then for ease and to speed up the process, I'm using canned chickpeas. I'm using 2 cans. Then I have a piece of cinnamon stick, 2 black cardamoms, 2 teaspoons of cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons of coriander powder, 1 to 2 inch piece of fresh ginger. I'm also using 2 bouillon cubes. You can skip them, especially if you're making it in stock. And then I have fried onions. If you have pre-fried ones, use 1/4 cup. Otherwise, the onion that I just showed, a medium large size, should be good enough. So let's start with the cooking process. I have put my instant pot on saute mode, and I'm adding about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil, as well as a tablespoon of desi ghee. It gives an amazing aroma to your pulao and it tastes good. It has lots of health benefits and it's super easy to make. If you didn't know that I have an instant pot recipe for that as well, I'm going to link it here for you, so do check that out. And now once my oil has heated up, I've added my whole spices and I'm just going to let them sizzle for a minute. And then I'm adding my fresh ginger, the sliced ginger that we saw earlier in the video. And once that's also fragrant, I'm adding in my onions. I'm just going to rehydrate mine as they're already fried. But if you're using fresh, make sure to brown them as best as you can, because the brown color of a pulao, it actually comes from the browned onions. So the better you brown your onions, the more beautiful color your pulao will have at the end. I hope that makes sense. And then I'm adding my bouillon cubes. I think there are also pulao cubes now. If you're living in Pakistan, you can definitely use those as well. And if you're vegetarian, you can use vegetarian bouillon cubes. And just to help it cook a little bit better, I added 1/4 cup of liquid into it, just plain tap water. And I'm going to cook it, and I'm gonna let the water evaporate pretty much till it's all gone. And then I added my coriander powder. If you're using fresh onions, you might not need that 1/4 cup of water. Pre-browned ones, because they have no moisture into them, I needed some extra help. So now I'm adding in all of my chickpeas, and I'm going to toss them so that they can get coated with all that masala that we just created. And then I'm adding in all the rice. And then comes the water level, something that everybody I think seems to dread, but fear not, I have a few tips that will help you in getting the perfect rice every single time whenever you're making something with rice in your instant pot. So if you remember, we used about 2 cups of rice, and then I added 2 cans of chickpeas. So generally it's about 1-to-1 ratio, but because we added chickpeas, there's a lot more volume, right? So I'm gonna add more water, as you can see, and I ended up adding 2 3/4 cups. The reason I use 1/4 cups towards the end is because I don't want to add too much liquid. So after 2 cups, add a 1/4 cup at a time and see if you still need it. And there are 2 ways to actually know if you have enough water. Is one, if you cook too much rice in the instant pot, you'll just be able to visually tell if it's enough. Do the fingertip test, which is you put your finger in, and it should be about 1/4 to 1/2 inches above the rice level, not the chickpeas. the rice. And now that we have perfected our water level, it's time to salt or season the pulao. This is when I like to add my salt. If you're using broth, feel free to add the salt even before you add your rice or chickpeas. Whenever you're making pulao, make sure that it's heavily salted. Taste a little bit and see. If you think that the salt is perfect, it means it still needs more salt. So if you find it being really salty or high in salt, then it means that it's going to turn out perfect. As with rice, the volume is going to increase quite a bit. So I ended up adding 1 more teaspoon of salt for a total of a tablespoon plus a teaspoon, but add however much you like, do it to taste. Now let's come to cooking our rice. I'm going to show you 2 ways to do it. One is going to be using your rice mode, which is going to do everything automatically, from setting the timer to cooking the rice, or you can pressure cook it on low for 3 to 5 minutes. In either case, once the timer is up, you want to do a quick pressure release, which means that once you hear that beep sound, once the timer ends, you want to manually release the pressure by opening the valve, just like I'm doing it here. And I just like to use a kitchen towel to direct my steam towards the vent. But please be careful, it's really hot. Do not burn your hand. Keep it as far away as you can. And now for the moment of truth. Let's open that lid and see how we did. And look at that beautiful, perfectly cooked grains of rice. You can enjoy it right away, but I always recommend that you let it sit for an extra 10 to 20 minutes, because all that steam that is going to be trapped in the Instant Pot, your rice is going to absorb it and it's going to cook further, and it's going to be more delicious, more fluffy, and it's going to be those perfectly cooked dum wale khade khade chawal, as we call it in Urdu. What I like to do is I put it on a sealing mode so that my steam is 100% trapped, and then since it's already on the keep warm mode, it automatically goes to keep warm after the pressure is up. I'm gonna let it sit for at least 10 minutes, but 20 to 30 is even better. And look at that, you can visually also see the difference between the grains of rice. They look more separated, they look more curled up, as you can see here. And now you can enjoy it with some salad, with some raita, some kababs, some chapli kababs. They pair really well. Some chicken kebabs, seekh kebabs, whatever, or even enjoy it as it is. With a cucumber salad and a fresh squeeze of lemon. So that is all for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and this recipe. If you created, please share it with me on my Instagram page. I love seeing your recreations and share it with everybody. If you have any more requests, please comment below, and if you like my content, please do consider subscribing and giving this video a big thumbs up. Until next time, the Homemaker Baker over and out.